Hello, this is Todd Luck, and in my spoiler reviews for Masters of the Universe Revelation, there was quite a few things I noticed and quite a few things I speculated about. And now that Kevin Smith has had a chance to actually talk about the series, now that the first part is aired, he's actually confirmed a lot of things that are going to happen in part 2. And so I just want to do a quick update about things that we can expect in part 2. I'm going to use Kevin Smith's 2.5 hour SmodCast that he did. It's called He-Man Beyond, and that's on his YouTube channel. And it's wonderful. He's talking with the voice actor who played Orko. And I'm also using the writer's commentaries he's also put on his YouTube channel. He's done writer's commentaries with each of the writers of each episode, and they're really wonderful. So those are going to be my main two sources. So let's get started. Here's your spoiler warning. Jump off now if you don't want part 1 and part 2 spoiled. So here we go. By the power of SmodCastle, we have the spoilers. All right, so first off, of course, as I pointed out, Adam's not dead. I thought this was fairly obvious because Teela's covering his wound at the end, and you don't do that to a corpse. You do that to someone who's wounded. And so narratively, the only reason why he would be alive at the end of part 1 is to be in part 2. One thing he did say that surprised me was that Adam will be He-Man as early as episode 6, which I was surprised that he was going to be able to transform that early. Also in the writer's commentary, they revealed that the ending we got of episode 5 was not the originally intended ending. It actually ran long, and so they had to cut a scene or two from the ending of that episode, and those scenes will actually become the opening for episode 6 in part 2. He said that one of those scenes involves Prince Adam, and he was over the moon about it. He was just so impressed with what this writer had come up with, and he didn't drop any hints, but I'll give you my speculation about what that could be at the end of this video if you're interested. But he also said that there was going to be a very long, very brutal fight between He-Man and Skelegod in episode 7, so definitely looking forward to that. Also during the SmodCast, he confirmed that Orko was not dead. One thing that I missed when I made my segment on why I thought he wasn't dead, I had it in my notes, but I forgot to put it in there, but they just came right out and said it. They paralleled Orko's death with the death of Gandalf when he fought Balrog in Lord of the Rings. He even quotes Gandalf at one point. And that was a big signal to the reader that, yeah, this guy is probably coming back. So very glad to see Orko coming back for part 2. And so to talk about the person who was on the other end of that battle, Scareglow, and the San Diego Comic-Con panel that's on the San Diego Comic-Con's YouTube channel, at the end of the panel, he said that all the panelists were going to be in part 2, and one of the panelists was the voice of Scareglow, so that confirms Scareglow will also be in part 2, so super looking forward to that. He was awesome in part 1. Also during the SmodCast, the actor who played Orko said he knew someone who wanted to play Ram Man, and Kevin Smith said that part has already been cast, and Kevin Smith seemed very serious and didn't seem to be joking at all. I'm not sure if that would be in part 2 or if that could be in the possible second season. And of course they confirmed the obvious. Of course Teela will find out who her mother is and what her destiny is. And during the writer's commentaries he did mention that Teela's hair will change. Obviously Teela and all the characters got a makeover for episode 2 and on, you know, their post-apocalyptic look. He did say he preferred her with long hair, and that the cut she had, you know, for post-apocalyptic Teela was inspired by Supergirl's sister in the Supergirl TV show. And so I don't know if the new look for Teela will have something to do with her powers kicking in, or if maybe all the characters will get a makeover, because, you know, now that they're together and, you know, maybe back in Randor's service, we don't know, you know, exactly where this new part of the story will take them, but it might make sense for them all to, you know, kind of have different looks and maybe go back to more traditional Eternian warrior looks. And I would especially be interested to see something like that with Andra. I would definitely be interested in getting an origins figure out of her if there was a look for her that was a little easier to make into a figure like that. And the final big spoiler he dropped, and he didn't even mean to do this at the end of the SmodCast. The look on his face when he realized he accidentally said it was hilarious. But he let drop that Method Man has one of the voice actors in the series. He didn't say who he would be playing, but my speculation would be that he will be playing Clamp Champ. And that's backed up by the fact that the episode 1 commentary, they say that Clamp Champ will be an active character. They said that he and Fisto will practically have their own episode, which is really awesome. I've been looking forward to seeing Clamp Champ in the animation for many, many years, so it's really cool that he's finally going to get to be a character, and I'll be very interested to see what they do with that. The episode 2 commentary revealed what happened to that Elena appearance that was listed in Wikipedia. Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn Smith, was supposed to do the voice for Elena, who was a character from the Filmation cartoon. She appeared in an episode, I believe it was called A Friend in Need, but there was this wizard who offered her like a magical drug she got hooked on, and then Adam and Tila helped her kick the habit. So what happened there was that scene where that character was in Revelation in the second episode got cut. It was one scene. It was going to be after they've gotten the goblet from Snake Mountain. They go to Grayskull to deliver it. And in the show that we got, there was nobody there. They just walked in. You know, they mentioned that Grayskull is supposed to be a forbidden zone and all this stuff, but there's no one guarding it. So in the original script, Elena was supposed to be guarding it. She's sent there by Randor to make sure no one can get in. And so Tila and Elena get in a fight, and Tila kicks her ass. And so Elena's on the ground, and she says, "I used to look up to you." And Tila says, "It looks like you still do." I'm super bummed it was cut, but, you know, sacrifices are made when you do projects like this. The voice was recorded for the scene, but the animation was never created. So who knows, maybe they could do like a voiceover with storyboards or something as an extra for a DVD at some point. And also during the writer's commentary, they did point out what I noticed, that, yeah, you know, it would be very easy for Man-at-Arms to bring Roboto back, so he may be back at some point. And they also mentioned that Roboto would be getting a figure in the Masterverse line in Wave 3, so that's kind of cool. So that's all I got out of those videos. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments below. But I'm super hyped for part 2. And let me, while I'm at it, just go ahead and speculate what that big Adam moment is that'll open episode 6. So my theory is, I mean, they could heal him, or he may just stand up while wounded on his own power. But my theory is that he's going to stand up as Adam, and he's going to goad Skeletor on. He's going to be like, if you try to hurt my friends, you're going to have to go through me or something. And he's going to goad Skeletor into stabbing him with a power sword. And when that power sword's in his gut, he's going to say, "By the power of Grayskull," and transform. And of course, as He-Man, he'll probably be healed. You know, the explosion will probably knock Skeletor back. Maybe He-Man can grab the sword, but he'll be healed as He-Man. And then, if I can speculate about my speculation, what that could mean is that he may have to stay He-Man, because if he goes back to Adam, he'll have those wounds that would kill him. So he may have to stay as He-Man, you know, from there on out. And then, of course, there might be something disastrous happen where he loses the power, and it's like, oh no, Adam's gonna die, or something like that. But again, it's pure speculation. But regardless, definitely looking forward to part 2. So while I'm at it, I just want to throw in one more theory that occurred to me since last week. So in episode 3 at the beginning, Evelyn calls Man-at-Arms the most dangerous man in Eternia, and Andra is interested in meeting him because of the technology that they described him using. She's fascinated, and Evelyn says, you don't need to mess with dangerous men, you know, that they'll leave you and wanting and all this stuff. And so that tells you something about Man-at-Arms, right? That tells you something about Evelyn and Skeletor's relationship, right? But I think that conversation could have also been foreshadowing. So like I said in my spoiler review, Clampchamp in the bios becomes Man-at-Arms after Duncan. And so if they go that route, when they end up at the palace, right, Clampchamp could be there as Man-at-Arms. And so if that's the case, Andra and Clampchamp will have a lot of things in common and might hit it off, which would be awesome. I mean, again, just super looking forward to finally seeing Clampchamp as a character. So I'll link in the comments below the videos that I've been referencing. I also link my own spoiler reviews, you know, if you want something a little shorter, they'll go through. I think it's, if you watch, I had to split it into 2 parts, but I think it's about 40-some minutes to cover all 5 episodes, and then predictions for part 2, you know, if you're interested in that. Before I go, one piece of advice for Masters of the Universe fans trying to find videos on YouTube. You may notice that your feed is being filled with YouTubers who aren't really Masters of the Universe fans. They're these YouTubers who go around and target different franchises, and instead of getting content from Masters fans or Masters of the Universe content, you know, from official sources and whatnot, you're seeing these guys instead. I was a little hesitant to tell YouTube I wasn't interested in their videos because it might make YouTube think I'm not interested in Masters of the Universe, which I am. You know, if it can show me something great with a brand, I want to see it. So there is another option, you know, when you click those 3 little dots on those videos in your feed, there's another option that says to hide the channel, or that you don't want to see content from this channel or something like that. And that's the one you should pick. That'll eliminate those channels you don't want to see, but, well, hopefully not making YouTube think you don't like Masters of the Universe. And, you know, feel free to support this franchise on YouTube. Even if the comments are flooded with certain things, you can still leave your own comment and people aren't going to harass you or anything. I've been doing that and I haven't had any backlash or anything. So just, you know, if you enjoy this stuff, let your voice be heard. You know, don't be scared to, you know, tell people that you enjoy this franchise, and tell the people who made it, you know, how much you enjoy it as well. All right, that's it. Like and subscribe for more videos, and until next time, good journey.